All right, all right, all right. Hope you all are doing well. Welcome back to the Keep It Real podcast with your host, Nicholas Salter. And I'm a dear friend here, Mr. Luke Armstrong. And you might have noticed something slightly different about this episode. And
it's the fact that we're wearing the same shirt.
Yes, we accidentally matched outfits from the gray shirt to the silver chain, and then we're both wearing blue jeans. So we're twinning this episode.
We're here to pitch you Facebook,
which is great. And sorry if I'm looking down. The big change is that I downloaded new software where my phone can turn into a nicer camera for the podcast show. So I'm used to looking down here because that's where the camera is, but now I gotta get used to looking up there instead. So a little bit of a change. But yeah, we are upgrading things as time moves on. I'm very excited about that, very happy about that. As time moves on, I hope to kind of get even more robust with the equipment and things I have access to add to the show and make it better. But I'm really happy that I finally have a good camera, so now you guys can stop complaining about it. So thank you.
So you have to have people who complain about it?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Or it's more like my own family. They were just like, it's so grainy.
Wow.
They're just like I like you. I like listen to your stuff, but it's like, you gotta get better camera. Dude. It's like, yeah, I know, I got it. Yeah. Well, guess what, motherfuckers? I finally got it. So now you guys can shut up. No, just in general.
Oh no, it's written in the
me.
history of video now.
Anyway, I love my family. Anyway, yeah, so I finally got that kind of working and everything. So I'm excited about, using this more often and be able to give more higher quality content to you guys. It is different though, not being able to look down versus having to look up at the camera. I used to be able to look at myself talk, so I had to bounce back and forth between the two.
I mean, we could probably put a pillow under it or something or two.
Actually, that's my big idea. I know. We're kind of working out the kinks as time moves on. But anyway, glad you guys can tune into the show. Life update, car battery went out this week, which sucks. So I had to get a new one of those.
Biggest life update we know.
Yeah, that we know of, yes. And I also have jury duty as well, which sucks. So looking forward to that.
God forbid we have to do our civic duties.
Fuck that.
Are you going to use that in the jury selection? Just a video.
This is why you shouldn't choose me. So besides that, and got some more episodes coming up with a couple other individuals that I've met. Talk things about like the Enneagram or personality types, MBTI.
I'm just not popular enough.
And other, you are fantastic. I love having you, but also diversity is also a good thing. And being able to have a variety of different people and a variety of guests to get access to different worldviews, different viewpoints, different life stories to see what people have learned from their own growth experience to kind of help out individuals out there. Your story speaks to somebody, but then that may not be the story they need to hear. They might need to hear someone else's to feel connected or to grow and to inspire them or whatever. So,
you see what DEI has done, America?
Exactly. We have to expand our horizons. Okay? We have to meet the quota.
I think the other two people are white, aren't they?
They are. Yeah. They are. For now, yes.
Oh, wow.
But there's
don't
going
worry.
There is going to be.
You meet your own quota without even knowing.
That is not the criteria of what I look for whenever I bring on guests. All right, that's not the first thing that I look at. Oh, God damn it. But anyway, yes, there's going to be more guests, better equipment, stuff like that, all down the line for this show. I'm actually proud, too, because if this episode included in the two that I'm planning, that should put me, I think, about 20 episodes, maybe over that. And most podcasts don't make it out of that territory. I think they say about 90% of them don't make it past the 20-episode mark.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I'm like, okay, so if I can make it past these milestones, that means I'm in to win it, motherfuckers. You're not getting rid of me that easily. I do this shit for years. But, yeah. So we're gonna see how far this boat takes us. But, today's episode, I kind of wanted to go over, of course, a topic that's really important to me. And I know I harp on it a lot. Everyone's probably fucking up. Like, Nick, do you ever talk about anything else? It's like, no. Because if we don't focus on this, I think the world is literally going to fall apart. So I think it's a big fucking deal, at least to me.
I thought you talked about this with me before, but now I'm doubting what you talked about with me before.
Well, yeah, it's the masculinity crisis.
Oh, that. Okay, yeah, okay. I thought you were going to bring up enneagrams.
Oh no, not this episode. Future episode, yes, but not this episode. Not talking about personality types. Not really too much. I anticipate, but talking about more about again going into the masculinity crisis, but more about what does that look like on an individual basis. Like we already talked about what masculinity isn't, when in terms of like a Donald Trump or Andrew Tate type ones that want to appear domineering,
or at least they're toxic.
Yeah,
you know, it's like I don't like to. I don't know. It's some people have this idea that like, oh well, if you say their masculinity, their personality is like entirely unmasculine, you kind of forego a lot of the basis of what masculinity is, right? But if you say it's toxic, you can basically kind of put it in your brain that it's laced with something that shouldn't be good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. It is toxic masculinity, to where it's like masculinity is strength. I think it's about having a sense of power, you know? Kind of like, it's not like power is not necessarily good or a bad thing. It's just power, right?
Yeah.
It's about how you wield it. I think masculinity is kind of similar in that regard. So there's toxic masculinity where it's like you impose your will on other people for your own self-aggrandizement. And then there's positive masculinity where you produce good works for the good of society or those like around you, right? It's just power used in a good manner, like for a good purpose kind of deal. So that kind of goes into what I want to talk about, which is the 4 masculine archetypes.
That's what I thought you meant by Enneagram shit, man. I thought you were like the 4 masculine. I was like, this is Enneagram shit, okay?
Well, yeah, so this is the different psychology thing. But like, this is based on Jungian Psychology. Things about archetypes kind of corresponds to like some nations of the human experience, basically. So they say they have like the archetype of like the warrior, for example. Every guy knows that archetype. Like every guy wants to grow up being like, oh, I'm gonna be the guy that saves the world. I'm like a fireman, or it's like, I'm gonna be the guy that fights the evil thing for the good of the people, right? Like that's the warrior archetype. We grow up with those storybooks of like the protagonist.
Literally, one of the most famous quotes is, "It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war."
Yes, I think that's gonna be very. Yeah, that's a very like topical quote for I think this moment in time that we're in. I feel like there's a lot of gardeners and not enough warriors. I think out there. I think right now, but that's the thing. Sometimes we think warriors is like someone's like just beat the chest motherfucker that's like only lives for the fight. That's only for about the domination and like the bloodlust and like, you know, again, similar to the Andrew Tate types where it's like it's only about just conquering and winning at all costs, right? Mm-hmm. But the mature warrior is actually someone that fights because how much they actually care about someone, or they care about the society or the tribe. They fight, they sacrifice not for the sake of themselves, but for the sake of people that they love. Right? I mean, the strength is used for, again, a purpose higher than their own ego, their own pride. Kind of.
I disagree with you, honestly. For the first time in podcast history.
Okay, what's the disagreement?
I think it's fine to be a gardener. I think the idea that you need to be a warrior is half the problem. It plays into the idea that you need to be something that is fighting all the time, you know? You don't. You can be somebody who is just kind and not like mean to people, or like I understand warrior doesn't mean you're inherently mean to people, but you don't have to be like tough or anything. Like I find that a lot more of the time with toxic masculinity, it is the men that hate the gardener so much that they just want to be a warrior no matter what, and then they'll destroy any garden they have. You know? Is it better to be a peaceful gardener in a war and can make the food and help people, right? Or to be a warrior in a garden and you're so high-strung and upset about war that you destroy the garden, you know? Like, I understand at the end of I was waiting for your moment, sorry. But, like, I just think, like, the warrior and the gardener type thing is, like, yin and yang, you know what I mean?
And I think, I'm glad you said yin and yang, because the point of the 4 masculine archetypes is basically, think about it as, like a table with 4 legs. You know, so like that's the table with legs, the whole individual, but the legs are each of the archetypes. So there's king, which is more of the provisional side of being a man. So this is more about the generating more than what you consume. So more about, think about it like someone that kind of brings home like the breadwinner, so to speak.
Provider.
Yeah, the provider type, to where it's like, they make sure that you have a place to lay your head at night, or they give you the money that you need. It's like when there's times of crisis, this is the kind of individual that you can go to because they have enough resources to spare to help you and to assist you, right? They're not someone that just takes all the time.
You said, what archetype is this?
The king.
That's a terrible name for that archetype.
Yeah, I mean, also the king also sets the.
I guess it's the idea of like he's the king of the house.
Yeah, or like the king, he makes sure that the kingdom flourishes, kind of deal. Like a responsible king is going to make sure that the people will have the food that they need, would have the shelter that they need.
True.
It's like the responsible king is the individual that makes sure that the kingdom is sustainable for the long term, basically. And the king also sets the vision of where we're going. So, what kind of kingdom do you want to have? Like, what are the focuses? What are the goals of the family, of the team, of your own inner kingship in your own life? To where it's like, where are you going? Like, why do you wake up in the morning? Like, what are you doing it for? What's the point of all this? That's the encapsulation of the king, kind of like a direction to go in and making sure that direction is sustainable. Then there is the warrior archetype we kind of touched upon. So this is the archetype that talks about more upholding standards, values, expectations. So when the king kind of has a plan, okay, this is what we want to aim for, right? Let's say you want to get in shape. Like, I want to drop 20 pounds by the end of next year. That's like the vision of the king, right?
Okay, so the king is the visionary.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Okay.
So then the warrior is like, okay, that means I have to hold myself accountable to make sure I track my calories, to make sure I work out consistently, to make sure I get enough sleep and take care of myself. It's being able to hold yourself and maybe even others accountable for doing what you need to do in order to be successful.
Yeah, so
kind of deal.
the warrior is the discipline.
Yes. And then there's the magician archetype. So that is the archetype of like more of wisdom, of being able to grow, being able to learn, not being so.
Which one is that?
The magician archetype.
Okay.
So I know you hate the nomenclature, but
It's fine. It's just I never thought of wisdom with magicians. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not going up to a magician and he's like, pick a card, any card, and I pick a card, and he's like, your family situation is kind of complicated. Like, how did you know?
I think you think of magician not necessarily like in like the whole like pick a card, any card type, but more like the magician of like the old back in the day, like the Knights of the Round Table, when there's like got Merlin.
I think you actually told me this the first time you explained these archetypes because I questioned the magician again then.
Oh, yeah, probably.
I'm kind of... Keep explaining, but I think I remember this conversation, and it makes me laugh that I remember... this is a double happen of what the fuck is magician with wisdom and shit?
But yeah, so the magician... so think about like magic, almost like alchemy, right? Being able to change the fundamental nature of something. I think that's more about the magician, is more about the learning, the growth, the change, to even be good at a craft, like what your skill set is.
Okay. I'm trying to nail it down in my head, but each one means one word usually.
Yeah, so it's
vision, discipline,
and then I'd say wisdom for the magician, but but also every man has like a skill set. They have like a thing. Right? Yeah. So your thing is being able to connect with people. That's your big thing that you're good at, and that you know how to do.
He's so sweet. Ladies, this man is single.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, if any of you are out there.
I would think my big thing is maybe problem solving or philosophizing, maybe too damn much. I don't know. But that's
the thing. I don't like it when you say that, because I want to encourage you to lean into that if it really helps you.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Every individual, but also especially for men, is that we have a thing that we're inclined to do.
Yeah.
There's some people that they're born to be accountants. They just know numbers. They love spreadsheets. That's all they want to do all day, every day. That can never be fucking me. But there are some people out there that they're just wired a certain way. I think that's the magician archetype, is that kind of what's your inclination towards, kind of what's your gift to the world, what kind of sets you apart, makes you unique from the rest of the pack, kind of deal. And then be able to mentor somebody, or be able to give that knowledge or that wisdom of your craft and spread it to the world and put good works out there. Then lastly would be the lover archetype. So the lover archetype for a man is this a man's capacity to enjoy life, right? This is what a lot of workaholics, or even argue that Donald Trump and Andrew Tate, a lot of toxic masculine types, this is probably where they're wounded the most, is their ability to connect with other people, to empathize, to listen, to give a shit about something outside of yourself. I think there's like a Greek word for it called thumos, basically like your life's fire, your passion, your energy. This is what gives the energy to the other three archetypes to make them run, essentially. Like, this is like why you're alive, like why you give a shit.
So like spirit.
Yeah, basically, like a man's spirit. And I actually feel like that's one of the biggest things that are in crisis for young men a lot today. It's just like our spirits. I feel like they're just crushed, man, and just we're lost in a sea of nihilism and purposeless, and it makes us callous, and then it makes us vulnerable to a lot of like conspiratorial people online, or a lot of hateful rhetoric. Like, when we lack that love and that passion for our lives, we become assholes, to the truest sense of the word, to where we just don't give a fuck about anything or anybody, and we want to see the world burn just so we can get back at it for hurting us or something. That's a bitter man right there. That's a man that lacks love and compassion. So that's kind of the summation of the four, basically. And it's this book, King War Magician Lover, Marcus Gillette, and then one other author I can't remember quite right now. Wonderful read. There's also articles out there that kind of, you don't want to read a whole book about it. There's articles that kind of shorten it, kind of go into what I described now. But I bring this up because I feel like there's a lacking definition of masculinity. We always talk about what it's not, and I feel like we have a hard time pointing down what it is. And I feel like if we can't give people a good structural, at least being a man is different for everybody, but at least like a solid principle foundation for it that we can start from, and then kind of make it into your own over time, that can help out young men kind of iron out a path for themselves and not just get lost in a sea of internet forums or gurus or just all this depression and nihilism from not having a direction to take. So that's my opinion, or what I gathered from it.
It's funny that you say that. I don't know. Like, have you ever seen Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Yes.
Favorite movie of all time. I feel like masculinity has changed, and people are still trying to teach an older version of masculinity.
Ah, that's right. Yeah. Roommate's coming in.
It's a murderer, maybe. We don't know yet. We haven't seen the door open. Hello, sir.
Hey.
You have a good day, Harrison. He's giving me a thumbs up. Great guy. He has a podcast too, right, Harrison? No? I thought you did.
He has a stream.
Not yet.
What's YouTube channel?
What's the stream?
H-Man WP.
H-Man WP.
H-Man W damn
on YouTube,
P.
which I've also been on there a couple times for games and stuff like that we stream with our friend group. It's fun. Check it out. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I feel like a lot of men. I don't know. I feel like the definition is changing over time, and men are held in a very, very particular position today, where I feel like a lot of people want a fantasy, and men and women on both sides want a fantasy, and that's the stupid thing of it all. And like, it's everybody battling expectations along with like what they think is going to work. And I don't feel like anything feels like it's working anymore. A lot of the time, for a lot of people. The reason I brought up Everything Everywhere All at Once is because it's it is my favorite movie of all time. But it's kind of funny because it was actually seen as more of a subplot. I would say it's a main plot. But I watched a lot of analysis videos on it and everything. And there was like such a good interpretation of Waymond. And yes, his name is Waymond.
That's the husband
yes.
to the main character in the movie.
Possible spoiler warning. I don't know if I'm going to spoil this.
It's just like a 5. If you haven't watched it by now, go watch it. So yeah.
Like just about his masculinity and how it was interpreted. He was seen as like weak and coy, or is coy the word? Coy might not be the word.
I don't think coy's the word.
Coy's not the word. My bad. Don't. There's gonna be another sound clip thing if
like,
we get famous enough.
It's like he in the movie, you see like he's like a doormat that just like kind of put up with.
Yeah, like a coward, a coward who's inept and like can't do anything right. And then there's that moment in the movie where she just like she like grabs his hand and then sees through his eye, or it wasn't through his eyes. It was seeing who he really is, and it was seeing that healthy version of him, the side that actually is good. And I just feel like.
Yeah, in the movie, he never stopped fighting for his family, and by fight I mean like he was always there.
Kind,
he was always listening. He was always picking up the extra work, the extra chores, making sure things got done, and he had enough compassion.
Was that what he was doing?
Yeah, I mean like he had.
I feel like it mainly showed him being a compassionate and kind individual.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean to interrupt you in that. I want to make it clear that still shows like what a good man he is, but I don't. I guess I hesitate to lean into anything with the provider mindset, you know what I mean? Because I want to make it clear that it wasn't necessarily his hard work, or it wasn't necessarily the resilience or anything, and anything.
He was pretty resilient.
He was. I guess that's a good point.
Yeah.
No. But like, I don't want to go into anything that would be traditionally overtly masculine in trying to define or redeem him, because
I think this is how he's being a king, right? To where he's not providing maybe financial securities. I think they don't make that much money in the movie. Like they're basically all the bills are late and all that stuff. But he provides like emotional.
But audited by the IRS.
Yeah, but he provides emotional security. Like he's like the bedrock.
Oh
the
yeah.
Emotional heart of the family. And so where it's like, yeah, even though he's not like a classic, man, like fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime, like kind of dude. Like that's not his vibe. But his vibe is the fact that he stayed emotionally strong despite everything falling apart. And because he stayed emotionally strong, he was able to show compassion to the lady that was auditing the family, the lady that was basically just a bitch the entire movie.
That was such a good point.
Yeah.
In the movie, I really love that point.
Mm-hmm.
Where she even said it. She was like, she said like my stupid husband or something like is talking to him, probably making things worse. Mm-hmm. And then he's such a good point.
He was actually making it better the entire time. So it's like he was still a king in his own right, and the fact that he was able to provide like that emotional foundation, that stability for the family that needed it.
Yeah,
needed that.
And I think that I think is. I cannot think of another movie that does that portrayal like that, like it did like that.
Yeah.
Of portraying a man who is like, and there is relevance within Asian culture and everything about actually even more than that. If you didn't know, of like how Asian men are portrayed in movies, Western movies, as like weak, and a lot of the time it's like the submissive or beta, whatever you want to call it.
They're typically not the main protagonist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this actually, like, I don't know, it flipped it a lot on its head. You know what I mean? And even watching, like, did you watch any reviews on it or anything?
Not too many.
I watched a few, and they were like talking about like Alpha Waymond, right? By the way, his name is actually Waymond. In case anybody thinks I'm purposely Waymond.
Yeah, the name of the kid.
Just in case anybody says I'm saying something like, I literally for a little bit, like I was like, I may have heard it wrong the entire movie, and then like listen to one review, I'm like, this is some racist ass shit to call him Waymond, and like over time I was like, shit, I think his name is actually Waymond. I think I was hearing it correctly, and I just wanted to deny it the entire time. I don't know. I apologize to all the Waymonds out there. I did not know it was a common name. That was the first time I ever heard that name, and I've heard the name Raymond before, so I just thought they were being...
Yeah, we're used to hearing it a different way.
Yeah. But I don't know. There is. I think a lot of people who do selfless acts go unrecognized, and like that's the thing about being a man and about those actions that you will do that are big and everything, and they make it, and they push, and they hurt, or they create. Those actions are very much so easy to spot easy to do, easy to be appreciated for. You know? But it's those subtle things where you do maintenance and kindness behind the scenes that I think really makes the difference. Is like a lot of people run love that way. They try to make it this thing about being like big and everything, and about constantly
the
having
over displays of affection.
Yeah.
And that's not.
And
not
I
love.
feel like in really good love, it doesn't before it explodes and goes really well. Oh, actually, explode in a positive sense. It like seeps into you. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like it's going so fast and unbelievable. It just settles.
Yeah, it's love. It's slow. It's
Comfort.
patient. It's kind. It's not real love is like it's steady. You know?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. And then you can grow from that base, and you can grow really well and really easily. But you have to be open to it, and the other person has to be open to it too. Otherwise, it's not gonna feel good.
I think that's a great way to summarize Wayman and everything all at once is that he was steady. Like he may not have been the typical archetypal man, but he was a steady man. To where it's like he didn't waver despite how bad things got. His character didn't change despite the life circumstances that him and his
Or
family
how he
were,
was treated, which was insane.
Yeah,
I don't know.
and I think that's part of what being a good man is that we're steady. You know, we don't let the world affect our character to where we can't.
And notice he said character, people. Sorry.
Yeah.
It upsets me when some people are like, the stoic man. They want the stoic man. The man who doesn't get rattled by things. And it's like, be rattled. Be upset. Be expressive.
That's how you know you give a shit. Yeah.
No, but that's the thing is I feel like a lot of... You know what? I'm not going to say that. Because both sides want an emotional range that I feel like sometimes bottles the other side into a inhibition, unexpression, and a lack of expression.
Yeah.
Like a lot of men are afraid to cry and everything.
Yeah,
you know,
the Marlboro man, one was just like, you know, there's no emotions. Just like he cries twice in his life. You know, when his mom died and then when his dad died. There's one single tear. Then you suck that shit back in. You know, it's like that's stuff where it's like that's not emotional control. That's
and
emotional.
They found him dead with a double barrel shotgun in his mouth.
That's emotional repression. I think that's why a lot of men die in our fucking 60s, maybe even earlier, is because like we bottle all that stuff up and we just can't take it. You know, we just we atrophy. So it just doesn't.
Well, I think like, you know, I have this problem. I feel like we need to stop. Man, I'm saying this about myself. I'm exposing myself. I'm really hoping this is a low view podcast. No, I'm kidding. I hope it explodes. But I really feel like you want love every 5 seconds, and I've made some not the best decisions because I wanted it so badly. And I still want it badly. I mean, I fucking say all this shit, and I'll relapse back to the exact same person I was when I find somebody who I feel like there's even a chance, you know? And I feel like the only time I ever really recover after the fact is when I find my friends again. And I feel like I feel like things are going to get really bad in the next, 10 years. I feel like you're going to see a lot more suicides among the young men population and everything. And, you know, people are already growing apart. But also, I feel like love is just so much harder to get because people don't trust each other. It's not even and that's the thing that's really hard to swallow. It's everybody's fault and nobody's fault at the same time, you know? There's a few people that it's probably more the fault of.
Yeah, it's like a systematic thing of what happened. But then at the same time, if we just say, oh, it's a systematic thing, there's nothing we can do about it, then we're also playing into the unraveling.
Yeah.
Yeah, by having that kind of victim mentality. So I mean, but it is definitely to where it's like young men we weren't basically being paid attention to for the last 20, probably the last 20 years.
You really want to say that?
I am, because it needs to be said.
It's gonna be great at your Thanksgiving dinner table.
And it's factually true. Young men haven't been paying attention for the last 20 years. I mean, in terms of graduation rates, in terms of suicide rates and mental health rates.
I feel like
even young men that are we're actually
You have a good point.
underperforming in terms of economic growth, like in companies and stuff like that. Women actually usually are the first ones to get promoted first, as well as also earn more income from the ages, I think, 21 to 29, basically before the family bearing years. But actually, they're actually performing better economically than a lot of them.
I feel like we should. I feel like there is truth and not truth in that, and I feel like if we put one word with it, it'll add up a lot more. I feel like young men have been focused on a lot to a certain extent. The thing about it is it still plays into traditional. Like, you have to think about, like, what I'm thinking of is like waning off of traditional patriarchy, right?
Okay.
And so the thing about it is a lot of viewers, and myself included, I don't really feel like either side has been. I feel like all sides are trying to be focused on right now, and it's like exploding, right? I feel like what hasn't been focused on, though, is our pain. Ever. Traditional masculinity kind of elected that men would hide their pain. And in this new wave, you're still seeing that expectation. That's why men are killing themselves. It's not because we're not paying attention to them as a whole. It's because we don't make room for a softness or a reaching out, or I don't know, like
You're saying like our pain is being treated like the other groups.
oh well, but again, I'm coming off this idea of like traditional masculinity, and now we're in this. It's been we're starting to see this new age, but you're still starting out at a base, right? And like, I mean, women have been underrepresented in other ways, and I want to make that clear. But women's pain in regards to emotional capacities has been, I felt like, more focused on, at least in regards to like how traditional masculinity sees it. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I definitely feel like, what was it? It's like the amount of safe homes for women in the U.S. is like
right.
Not insane. There's never too many safe homes.
Insane in comparison
to the men. That's like my whole argument with everything in anything and deal with. It's like say you love your friends. Say you love them. I tell my friends I love them. I love you. I love my best friend. I like you can love your guy friends without it having the fucking implication of something.
Yeah.
Like
our like men's emotional side has been neglected.
And here's the thing, is that a lot of guys will laugh at that and say like, oh, that's gay or whatever. But like, if I slam a person's eye through a piece of rebar to save his life because I love him that much, I wouldn't really think that's weak.
Right.
It's I'm also
like giving a shit about something doesn't make you a weak man. Being passionate about it, showing love, showing affection to the people you care about, even your fellow man, does not make you weak in any capacity. But we've built that kind of dogmatic principle in the society to where men can't show emotion, otherwise we're weak, to a point to where it's weakened us. Like it's weakened our spirits. And it's like we need that capacity for love and passion to give a shit about something in order to move forward. Kind of going back to the lower archetype, it's like that's going extinct, I feel like, in a lot of men.
I don't know if it's going extinct.
Or it's heavily malnourished.
I feel like it's very... I feel like out of all the things that are being redefined, that is the biggest one. By a while.
The biggest one that needs to be refined, you're saying?
That is being rewired and redefined and re-executed on different things. I mean, I keep meeting woman after woman that, like, if they meet the love of their life, they would, like, people don't want to work. People don't want to work. I think a lot of women would like a provider who, like, lets them stay at home.
It's like the choice, where it's like they had to stay at home and be like, it's nice that not all the financial burden is placed on them.
I know, I've seen women who are like, just want to stay at home. Even and like, I'm not mad at those women like that. I would stay at home to a certain extent. If my wife is a neurosurgeon, she's like, you want to take care of the kids? I'm taking care of the kids. I don't give a shit, right? But like, so that, like, a lot of people have this idea that, like, oh, these women are too big and brawny. They don't want a guy to walk in there and stampede around. And like, yeah, you're not wrong. There's some women who are like that. But I feel like most people in general would like a provider, right? But that's the thing, is that, like, so then that the warrior in the king archetype isn't necessarily changing that much, right? And then you have the magician, which is the wisdom, which is kind of a catch-all, no offense, if any taken, but...
I got this stuff in.
It's kind of a, like, how do you grow within it? And it's kind of like, that's such a volatile...
It might be the way I'm describing it, too. It might be described better in other...
Dude, there's a guy watching this on the other side, and like, the motherfucker shit it wrong. I'm over here making fun of magicians, and he has, like, an entire, like, display case of, like, cards.
But my thing is, I feel like, with magician archetype, is that's also what a lot of men... Like, a lot of, like, the Redditors type... Or like a lot of online people, like, example, the ones that want to go on there and be like, you're dead wrong, motherfucker, you don't know what you're talking about. And that was to spell out a whole thesis paper on why you're
but
wrong.
I feel like that's...
I think that's part of the unhealthy magician archetype, where it's like you have to be the one in control all the time.
But I feel like that's... I don't know. I feel like lover archetype should almost be like 2 or 3 more archetypes in and of itself. And I don't know what I would divide those as, but, like, I just want to make it clear how fucking important it is, and how much it's, like, been redefined in the modern day. And that's the thing. It's like, you no longer have this idea behind the traditional man who, like, stonewalls and anything, which was unhealthy, right? But now you have this idea that they not only need to be a provider, which is, again, still in that traditional sense, and still a lot of women want that, and again, men want it too, making it clear, but, like, it's the expectation as of in today's society that it's still on men. But now you also have this idea of emotional chemistry, and the idea that you have to be on it a lot of the time. Like, it feels, when you get in the wrong relationship, it feels so draining, because you don't feel like you're being loved for you. You feel like you're being loved for the idea of you.
Yeah, or what you do, which, I mean, I hate to kind of go red pill on this, or like, or even Chris Rock said.
He's bald underneath this cap, I'll have you know.
Or even like what Chris Rock said when it was comedy special, where it's like, only women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. A man is loved on a condition that he provides something.
And I feel like maybe that's a really good point. I feel like that's kind of like where we're at, and like and here's the not the terrible thing, but like here's the funny thing, is we're doing it to ourselves. It's like the idea that women have that, like, the fashion industry is really getting at them. It's really it's so much of them doing it to themselves. It's so much of them doing it to themselves, and like that's the same thing with men in this emotional shit. I feel like men are having a hard time reaching down and redefining themselves in this aspect, and like we need to stop trying to God, I just feel like we need more guys. We need more brothers in arms, not like
more tribes, right? More communities, more like
and more of an expectation of connection, you know? I feel like a lot of men, when I first talk to them, the most successful avenue I've had when talking to men in general is like actually one of encouragement and kindness and like energy. And like, again, that sounds stupid because the idea would be like women would want that too. And yes, that is true. But like a lot of men's response to it is actually I would argue like more than women, and I think it's because a lot of them are like please don't take it as disingenuous if I've ever I know a few friends of Nick watch this, and don't ever take it as disingenuous if I ever acted like that. That wasn't me testing you or trying to act a certain way to get a benefit out of it. This is how I've made my personality over time. But like men by and large respond almost like they either respond really well to it or really badly to it. Most of them respond really well. I want to make that clear. I feel like a lot of it has to do with how men experience emotion and how a lot of them don't feel like they get that care in certain ways.
They get
neglected in that capacity. They get neglected in the idea of like just looking at them and being like, "Hey man, you're a really good guy," you know?
To be seen.
Well, no. Because that's the thing is if they're providing, they're seen a lot of the time. They can. Because I know this because I experienced it.
Or what they're doing is being seen. Because what you do and who you are are two different things.
No, and I understand that. And I don't necessarily say that is absent, but like I'm trying to create a mentality that is like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of relationships are defined by the idea of you provide for me and I will give you affection. The man providing, the woman giving affection. Still happens in other types of relationships, by the way, just understanding my own qualifications of that. And I feel like men kind of feel... How do I say this? Like, it's a positive thing to get that for a lot of men. You know what I mean? To get that affection.
Yeah,
in
because
one way
we
or
don't get
another.
it a lot. I mean, even with men with compliments, like we get complimented. It's like, that can carry us for like a long ass time.
And like the mental of it makes a difference. I don't know. I forgot what I was getting on about. But what did you say again?
I mean, like, basically...
I said neglected.
And
then you said in a certain way, and that's where I disagreed. I forgot what it was. You said as a provider thing. Something about being a provider. I said...
men are loved on the condition that we provide something. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, but I agreed with you on that. But there was something else that you said about being a provider. We're basically like... Oh, God. My brain's not working.
Oh, that's okay.
But I feel like I'll try and like hit it on the nail on the head from what I was trying to figure out. But like I feel like I think this is what I was getting at, is that I feel like there is a lot of emotional neglect within the inner workings and expectations and understandings of men. And I feel like trying to go and phrase it as a provider thing
feeds into that.
It doesn't necessarily feed into it. It's just that sometimes I feel like it's unclear. I don't know. I don't know where I was going. I just feel like a lot of...
Like, you feel like even though we're trying to, like, redefine it, we're still playing into the same thing that caused it. Like, we're not really getting to the root of...
Maybe that's it. Maybe I didn't want to address it like that because I feel like providing is still an expectation and an understanding, and I feel like what's being truly neglected is the emotional inner workings of the man. Not...
Yeah.
Damn it, I might have... I'm going to rewatch this fucking podcast, and I'm going to rewatch the exact moment you said what you said, and I'm going to be like, I knew my response! I knew what I was going to say! But I just feel like, I don't know. I just felt very... I don't know. There is such a thing as, like, there's a lot of emotional neglect, especially in the expectations and the understandings of men.
Yeah. I mean, because society.
But we play into it. I can't
I
emphasize
think
it.
we do play into it, yeah. Especially on
But you get
people
somebody
that
who's also going to play into it as your partner, and it just turns into a shit show.
Yeah, that's why it's important to have self-awareness. But I think I think what you said has a point to where it's, if we're not careful, we can still play into the same dogma that kind of got us here in the first place, to where men's emotions don't matter, or like we're just workhorses, that we're not people that have capacity to just enjoy life and enjoy relationships.
I feel like that might be a little bit of an extreme view in this sense, just because if you swing for the fences, you know, some people think like if you swing for the fences, you'll hit the nail on the head sometimes. But I feel like sometimes if you swing too far, you'll get people to lose the idea of it behind, you know? Because I feel like a lot of women do definitely see men as people, you know what I mean? Without a doubt. It's just that I don't know. Like, and maybe that's the reason I didn't want to go into the provider set of it all, because I didn't feel like wanted to define it based off of the understandings of men in a relationship. I wanted to define it maybe more so off of like men within themselves.
Provider role, but just men with a relationship with themselves.
No, that's the thing. That's why maybe I was hesitant to talk about providers too. I don't know. I'm not trying to gaslight you here. I'm gaslighting myself. I'm so confused.
So like, who would you be providing to?
No, but that's the thing. You wouldn't be providing to anybody necessarily. You would be giving to your friends and everything. It's more about man-to-man connection rather than like man-to-man.
Okay. So I guess how would that be facilitated more? How would
it would require high levels, like again, you go back to like the whole like where women wear a lot of makeup and play into these beauty standards, you know what I mean? And then you go like, oh well, you just get rid of it, and it's like there are so many years and years and years of like ingrained in men, taught to men, still being enforced by men. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, maybe having a conversation like this is what helped. Like even just saying that, hey, we do have emotions. Shockingly enough.
But like again, I don't feel like saying that's gonna help.
Well, I mean, even then, it's like men. We have to be able to start expressing.
But I'm saying that like saying that is too extreme. You know what I mean?
It should be.
No, it shouldn't. We live in a world of extremes. If you don't conditionalize what you're trying to say, sometimes you lose people. And I feel like a lot of people, if you swing for the fences, people are going to immediately think they're not part of the problem.
Oh.
I think that if you look at a person and say like, you know, I don't know, the real heavy lifting is going to happen, and the expressionism that no man wants to do. Men don't want to talk about how they can feel depressed. Men don't want to talk about how lonely they are, how much they really, really want to be held, to cuddle, to be heard, to say words like I love you and everything. That is where it's going to make a damn difference, when things are normalized like that. And until those things happen, it's going to be, it's going to be macho and everything still.
So
but,
I guess what I'm trying to say is that there's going to be a period of uncomfortability.
Oh,
that just comes with change. Like, that's just, you can't change anything without having that period of shit feels worse until it kind of gets better. So in case of men sharing emotions, yeah, it's going to feel fucking awkward because we're not taught how to do that. We never really saw that. And this masculinity crisis, there's a fatherhood crisis to where we don't even
we are definitely not taught it. I will say that.
Yeah, it's like we don't know how to share and what good sharing. Because the problem is men think emotional sharing is like, oh, he's just crying over himself, right? We take it to this extreme to where emotional expression means loss of emotional control and loss of your emotional bearings.
Oh my god! Or like when a man, when anybody, I don't know. There's just.
And that's
I think you know what I'm diving into, and I'm gonna go dive back out of it. But it's just like sometimes people just think like, oh well, like extreme emotions. You know, they when a woman does it, oh it's you know, she's just being
It's
a woman.
socially accepted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but when a man does it, oh,
Then
whoa,
he's out of control.
yeah,
Just like a man child.
hey,
And
and they don't even know the context behind that
and
shit.
true emotional expression, emotional maturity, emotional availability isn't someone just crying their eyes out every chance they get. It's someone being able to express, like, you know, I am feeling lonely. Or it's like, I didn't have a good day today. I got my shit kicked in, and my boss yelled at me, and I feel inadequate as my ability to provide. Like, being able to take what's on the inside and say it. Not just think it, but to actually say it out loud and have the possibility of being shamed for it. That's what vulnerability is that there's a chance of rejection when you share. That just comes with the territory.
And like checking in on your fucking guy friends too.
Yeah.
Dude,
I don't do that very well. Yeah.
My dude, do it more often. It feels, I don't know, it feels good to me. I need to do it more often too, but like, my best friend did it to me the other day, and like, I can't tell you how much it meant to me. And I'm not saying that because you're there for me a lot, and I appreciate you, and you're an amazing friend. It also just, that nudge meant a lot. And like, but you do things for me too. And like, telling guys what they mean to you is also important. You don't have to do it in a way, you can still do it now without making it uncomfortable. The only people you're going to make uncomfortable if you do it is your fucking 80-year-old Vietnam War uncle who doesn't want to talk about shit, you know? Or your dad who's probably a closeted gay guy who doesn't want to talk about like you don't, like, there are so many modern men who would appreciate you just looking at them and be like, hey man, you mean a lot to me. And like, just leave it at that. Just start like that. Start like that.
We're
Mother of God. Do that shit.
We're afraid of the backlash.
God damn it. Just do that shit. Just do it. I swear to God.
Yeah, we're afraid of the backlash of being open, basically.
And because a lot of us are punished for it too. And that's the only people you ever really see, aren't it? Like you only see people who are mocked or seen as severe or otherwise. The internet is a sensationalist asshole.
We don't see healthy versions of masculine emotional expression. We never see it. So that's why we're confused on what the fuck it looks like.
And yet you can be deadpan. Like, I just want to make it clear to all those guys out there who like live in the country and who like grew up around hard ass men and everything. You don't like ask your bro to hang out and then just leave it at that too. Just be like, hey man, I enjoyed your company. You want to hang out again? And then boom. And it's those subtle things that also make it happen.
Here's another tip too, is that especially for men that look at psychology, is that we don't really just kind of hang out and like talk too often.
Yes, that's another thing.
We have like some kind of activity that we do to where, like, you know, we're working on something, or do a fucking podcast, for example, or it's like we have some kind of activity that we're doing while we're communicating. Typically, there's even been studies for therapy where a lot of men see a lot more benefits from therapy by going on walks and walking beside their therapist and talking.
Really?
And moving, yeah, than just sitting down in one place and just doing like a face, because this feels more like confrontative. So for our nervous system or something, that just kind of picks up on, like, we become more guarded naturally. But if we actually have some kind of activity to distract us, that allows us to open up more, like, emotionally. So pro tip. But typically, yeah, if you want to hang out with more of your guy friends or cultivate more of a community, or just like have an activity to do, so whether that be like, you know, go do like sport, like, you know, like do like
we've done bowling. Dancing, we've done kickball. That's really it. We've talked a lot.
but yeah, it's just like, you know, try to do something that you find enjoyable, but be able to do that with other people. And there'll be hopefully other young men like that too, or even some older guys too. I mean, you still have friends with some older guys that actually might be able to teach you a thing or two about life. It may actually not be a bad thing. And just be able to develop those relationships over time. And as you do those activities and engulf yourself in those groups, you'll slowly start to build connections to where you won't feel as isolated and alone.
But you have to tend to those connections.
Yeah.
You have to. I don't know why my hand is like this, but I'm going to keep it there. No. You have to. Again, I just it annoys me that a lot of men, I don't know, I'm seeing a lot of power and happiness when it is in the modern day because of men connecting in those ways.
I think that's how we get out of this thing. It's not.
And that's the thing, is because we've made an entire. It's not ideology. It's not reputation. Identity. We've made an entire masculine identity off of being a provider and being a guy who gets women. We have not made a good masculinity off of being a guy who gets friends.
Yeah.
You know. I mean,
I think that's valid. Yeah, we've neglected a lot of our male friendships for the sake of success or even romantic success, but then we wonder why we're empty and lonely because we don't have strong relationships just with people, with fellow other men.
And it will, yeah, and it helps you a lot too when you are in a relationship when you have it.
Yeah,
because you're like
sometimes you just need something like to bounce off of someone.
Oh
hey,
man,
you know, this thing happened. Is this normal? You know, it's like to be able just to talk about this stuff and not have it all.
Well, it also gives you a good gauge if you can connect. You know, again, some men are uncomfortable at this level, and if you are, just for the love of God, just stick to this subtle shit.
It takes time.
But I don't know. Like when I was talking to my friends, I understood a bit more how I wanted to be talked to in a relationship. And then when I got into a good relationships or when they were going well, I was like, oh, I can tell this is good. It like gives you practice, right?
I even further to where it's like you probably shouldn't try to get in a relationship with a woman if you don't have good male companions you can go to first. Oh. Like you should probably have.
Do you realize how many men you just like literally just?
Yes, like, and it sucks, but I feel like you need to.
No,
have
but that's the only fucking way of connection. I knew like there's a guy I know who I'm actually trying to hang out with more. I met him through a Muay Thai class. He's a great guy, right? Literally, I went out with his friend group one time, and all of them knew each other only by their girlfriends. It was just guys hanging out with the girlfriends, friends, boyfriends, and like they get along. You know what I mean? It went well. It's a healthy dynamic. But the fact that a girlfriend is now a key to connection is a really dangerous thing. You know what I mean?
And that's it. Just doesn't have to be. That's just how we settled for that, basically.
And we did to ourselves. We did it to ourselves.
And it wasn't demonstrated for us. I will say that because even like I would say for my parents, they don't have a lot of friends. Let me say not to rag on them. I mean, I love them. You know, they're awesome people. But they're not having. We're not having a bunch of
mom and dad.
So it's like, I feel like for our generation, we don't have a lot of fathers to begin with. But the ones we do have, we don't see them have a lot of fulfilling male friendships themselves.
No, yeah.
You know, so it's like we don't see it displayed, so therefore we don't know what we need to look for. So we think, oh, our woman just be our everything. We'll just put all our emotional needs on her, and then we wonder why the relationship goes to shit. It's like, because not one person's meant to handle all of that emotional weight. You're supposed to have like, your good friends, some aspects of your family, and a good relationship with yourself as a basis. And if you have that good basis, then you'll probably be emotionally more ready for a relationship. But a lot of guys, even myself included, I mean, we like to try to put the cart before the horse, and then we wonder why we're having such a hard time with it. And I think that's because our emotional foundation isn't strong enough yet. Like, we need to work on more emotional intimacy with our close friends and our family and stuff like now, and then we'll be ready for the emotional intimacy we need for an actual partner.
And we don't have to call it intimacy.
In my intimacy, that means being able...
I know what you meant. But I really want to reach out because the guys who need it the most are not the guys who will be okay with the word intimacy. Okay. You just need to reach out to them. You just need to look at your guy friend. Don't even look him in the eyes. Just be like, hey man, I care about you. Just 2 seconds of fleeting fucking eye contact. And just be like, just let them sit with it.
Drive-by intimacy?
Yeah. Oh my God, why do you keep using the word intimacy? Drive-by intimacy. That's so bad. You're gonna just keep daring it. Oh my God, I can't get over that.
Drive-by brotherhood.
Oh man, that's even worse. I need to go get the white robe that we're gonna wear later now. Drive-by brotherhood. Oh man.
But yeah, man, just like just talk to somebody.
Just reach out. If you think your friend isn't doing well, ask them how they're doing. Yeah. If you think you want to tell your guy, your friend, how important they are to you, tell them even subtly. Or you don't even have to fucking tell them in a way that's like direct. You can just tell them something that you like about them in a way or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. Related to something that they do, and like I actually find that works better than like direct compliments.
Yeah, so something that you respect the other person for.
Oh yeah,
and just verbalize that because you might think that they probably know already, or it's like I don't want to make things weird, but it's like you have no idea. Like you say that and they're like, oh shit, I never even thought about that about myself, because we may not think about our own strengths and what we're good at. So it may not even be clear to us because we can't see ourselves from an outsider's perspective. So just having an additional perspective and having someone bring that up to us, you're just like, oh shit, I didn't realize about.
You ready for the landing punch? It's almost like we need more people who can tend to gardens than people who will fight all the time.
Yeah, I can see that.
Motherfuckers.
It's important to try to stay balanced as a man.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, warriors have their place, but we keep trying to be warriors when we don't need to be. The world needs more men who will reach out to other men and try to be better and try to be more compassionate and kind, rather than guys who constantly try to beat the shit out of each other. Yeah. And that's the thing, is that like you're always going to think it's the other guy that's the issue, and that's fine, but you could also start thinking as you being the solution. Maybe that's a better way of putting it. Like you don't have to just avoid being a problem. You can also be a solution. You can be a good person in another person's life and lift them up and be the reason that they're alive, be the reason they get out of bed, be the reason that they're inspired.
You'd be surprised how much of a difference you can make. Like you even if you don't consciously know it, more likely you have a bigger impact than you think. I think a lot of people don't recognize that.
Oh yeah, you've made a huge impact, and it was usually when you didn't recognize it. Honestly, it was usually when you would reach out to me, and in our conversations that were going way too fucking late into the night, in the way that you would, compliment me and connect with me. You build time with somebody to then not cash in. Cash in is not the word I'm trying to use. You build time to foster the connection, to then execute on that connection to grow. And every time that happens, it grows more. If you just spend all this time with somebody and never foster the connection, then you're gonna just have it hit a peak. And that's what you're talking about with like football guys who just watch football in silence and then they all go home. You know what I mean?
The more the acquaintance level.
Yeah, they never get past that level because they never foster the connection. And so
they're too afraid to take a step.
Well, yeah.
To go maybe a step deeper.
Yeah, and you can find bullshit things to do. Weightlifting, dude. If you want to go pure masculine with it,
honestly, I mean, there's a lot of guys at the gym, man.
They take forever on the weightlifting bench. I'm so happy for them, but God, if you talk one more time while you're doing your bench press, I'm gonna just let the bar sink.
Probably take the conversation away from the workout equipment. But that being said, yeah, there's a lot of great guys. If you care about taking care of your body and go to the gym and things like that, there's a lot of great guys at the gym that like, hey, dude, I really like the way that like the way you do that lift. I never thought about doing it that way before. Or like, can you show me how you did the exercise? It's like small things like that. If someone's like, oh, I didn't think that's even that big a deal. Shit, okay. And it's like that makes someone feel better about themselves, and that's like a starting point.
Start developing. I used to do that sometimes.
Oh,
like I would be weightlifting, and I'm kind of embarrassed to say this, but I would feel like wanting to like try out. I would call it cold calling because you would be I wouldn't know the guy next to me, but I would just look at him and be. And you can do it in a way that's smart if you do it in a way if you're trying to learn. A lot of guys love it doesn't fucking matter how ripped you are. They don't care. They just care that you ask them. You'll just be, obviously try to be cognizant, and this is a case where you have to be cognizant, because if you come up to a guy who's like obviously on the skinnier side and you're asking him about his bench press, it might look like you might look like a dick, even if you only mean it as a point of connection.
Right. Yeah.
But you know.
Contextual. Keep that in mind.
But like a lot of guys will perk up when you like but that is way more levels of reaching out though than a lot of men are comfortable with. And that's okay.
I think it's an ego thing.
If you have a cold plunge at where you go, or like
a cold plunge?
Yeah, do you know what a cold plunge is?
Do we like sit like a bath ice water?
Yeah, they have it at my like. I go to like a EOS.
Oh.
I've
never. That sounds awful. I thought
it's terrible,
yeah.
Dude. I almost fainted. I was gonna drown in like 3 foot, 3.5 foot.
Fuck?
Dude, they say please EOS is great. You know, they have it. I stopped doing it because like, dude, they say they have it at like. It's supposed to be. I think at like I think maybe maybe at like 50 degrees Fahrenheit or something. Dude, that shit.
It's not.
Dude,
it's not.
It's so cold. Dude, it is unbelievably cold.
What's the point of doing that again?
It's the idea of recovery, but I don't do it personally.
Yeah.
So the idea is that you basically freeze your muscles back into like the coldness reduces inflammation and everything.
I can see that, I guess.
Yeah, but then it's not, in my opinion, because it hasn't been super researched from my understanding, and the deficit is that you actually lose muscle gains from it because it reduces your inflammation, but your muscle's tearing, right? So it's reducing that tearing. Yeah.
So you're just going through all those pains to go
reverse it. Yeah, but the thing is, you recover like a motherfucker.
What's the point? We gotta go back to the gym the next day. You have to do more effort to get the build you want because you're holding yourself back, and that was the point. But,
and if you don't want to talk to people, volunteer at an animal shelter, pet a dog. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's
I know guys who do not talk at the shelter, and they do not want to talk to you. And that's fine. You know, just see them outside, and they'll just be like interacting with the dog.
And some people are more introverted on the introverted side of things, but even then, there's something you care about. There's something you like, and there's some kind of group or even forum out there to where you can make those small reach out, those small connections, and then maybe meet up in person after the fact. Or you might even like I don't know, like go through church for like a few times. You may not talk to anyone there the first few times, but then maybe after that you start getting more acclimated. You might say hi to somebody.
That should be our next episode about how to get guy friends. I actually, you know what, that makes me so angry that I've never talked to it. I feel like that should be talked about way more.
Yeah,
that makes me annoyed. That makes me annoyed.
It's a skill we don't.
Because you know, like in the modern day, you talk about like where to pick up women. It's nowhere. By the way, it's nowhere. Because let me make it clear, not because it's actually nowhere, but because everybody has a different damn definition of it. Like people will be like, "Oh, don't do it here, don't do it here, don't do it here, don't do it here." It's a bunch of don'ts, and that's fine. That's respectable. It's completely understandable because everybody has different definitions of what, you know. The only real place that people have said that is acceptable is dating apps or on like a dating like event or something and all that shit. And you know,
I think there's ways you can do it. We have to be very mindful of the social context.
You do. But making guy friends, you can do that anywhere. Absolutely. You can do that. I can do it in a line at Busch Gardens, you know. Yeah. By the way, both Six Flags, whatever the fuck you want to call it, you know.
Yeah, or just fucking grocery store in Kroger or something like that, dude.
That's a little bit harder. You have to understand context, and I can go into context. Sorry, I feel like I totally just derailed you.
Never mind.
No, it's harder. You can't look over at a guy and be like, "Salami, huh?" You know what I mean?
Got milk?
Oh God damn. You know? No, there's like...
So I'm over 2%.
Oh, my God.
1%'s okay, but like... if it was me personally, I wouldn't.
You know, you're wearing the fucking Aggie ring. I'm the 2%.
Yeah. Oh, man. But yeah, the point... Like, it's a lot easier to make guy friends, and I feel like we can bond over this.
It's the first step. I swear to God. And if there's any guy who's like...
You might even see that like a shirt.
And if you don't get any other, like, reason to do this, it will help you with getting women. Mm-hmm. It will
just be more social.
It will help you with getting women. If you're not going to focus on it for any other reason than the social benefits, then the safety nets and the connection and the amazing times we'll have with them, it will help you get women over time.
Yeah, I think girls like guys that have good connection with friends, like with their guy friends, like they have.
You need to choose your guy friends carefully. But we can go over that later at the next episode because it is an hour. It's been
about
so
an hour and
much.
10. Yeah,
It's been so much fun.
It's been great.
I don't even feel like we went into the fucking archetypes that much.
I feel like we did like a healthy amount. I mean, I think the point of that was to kind of serve a further discussion, but yeah. But anyway, to summarize, I think the important thing to focus on in regards to this conversation with the archetypes is that these archetypes, you're not meant to follow them, like adhere to them so strongly the way they become its own form of dogma. That's not the point. The point of it is to kind of take a look at your own life and see where are the areas that might be compromised right now that I might be able to put more focus towards to give myself a more balanced life and more balanced relationships. And in my opinion, I think for a lot of young men, I think it's the lover archetype, or the one to be able to reach out and connect with people and be able to express ourselves and the capacity to enjoy life, figure out what we really care about. And I feel like once we start getting that down, the rest of life will kind of start working itself out piece by piece. But yeah, with that being said, I think try your best to go out there and make social connections little by little.
And if you can't, we're gonna go over it next time. It's gonna be amazing.
And give you some tips to move forward
for the 22 people watching this net.
Yeah, and growing.
And growing. Who knows? This might be the episode. It's just
now.
It's just gonna be the title.
Camera quality right now.
It's gonna be the title is just gonna be "White Guy Does Not Shut the Fuck Up." It's just gonna be that entire time.
Oh man.
I think I'm gonna. If you pop off, I swear to God, somebody's gonna like percentage wise how much I talk versus how much you talk. And
I don't think it's that much. I think it's pretty similar.
I'm worried it's like 70 to 30. I'm gonna feel so bad.
I can go on some pretty long rants myself. I feel like.
I like your rants though.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, but awesome. But thank you guys for listening. Let us know what you think. Any ideas for episodes or anything that you want to see, any topics that you want to talk about. I'd love to hear it. I always love good feedback, even bad feedback. I'll take all of it. But yeah, thank you for listening. And like always, keep it real. Till next time.